Welcome back. Well, in the studio is a former Labour advisor, still very much a Labour man. He's going to the party conference in Liverpool next week. That should be interesting. It's Matthew Torbitt. Thanks for coming in, Matthew. Before we discuss what now is pretty much open warfare between Andy Burnham, shall we say the wannabe Labour leader, and the current Labour leader, Keir Starmer. No love lost there. But here's Andy speaking on BBC Radio about whether or not he will actually become the future Labour leader.
MPs were in touch with me, but let me also give an honest explanation of what I said to those MPs. It's not up to me. It's not my decision. That's a matter for you, for the party in Parliament. And also I said to them, and it's got to be about more than a personality contest. You know, the Tories were just constantly going through this at the latter end of the time that they were in government. It's got to be about a plan, a proper plan for the country and a proper plan to beat reform.
Now, Matthew, obviously somewhere or other Burnham has to engineer himself some kind of safe seat. And a lot of people saying there's no such thing with reform waiting in the rings. If they've managed to find him a safe seat and he loses it to reform, that might be quite a story. But seriously, that's what he needs to do. So there are hurdles for Andy to have to cross. But what I thought in the last day, I mean, it now is open warfare, isn't it? The Prime Minister today responding, saying, oh, it's not about the Mayor's personal ambition, that kind of thing. And, of course, Andy Burnham is all over the sort of Labour Bible magazine, the New Statesman, film star shot of him on the front and, you know, my vision and all this. So to say he's on manoeuvres is the understatement of the century. So you're going to Liverpool for the party conference next week, and this obviously will dominate the proceedings. I mean, I think I'm right in saying you're an Andy Burnham supporter. Is it true that there's a huge groundswell of more and more, shall we say, traditional Labour supporters who want Andy to take over?
Yeah, I think supporters, but actually more broadly, the thing that might be just as important is MPs, because if you engineer a safe seat and you win the safe seat, or you win a seat and get yourself in, you've still got to get 80 MPs minimum to back you. I've spoken to different MPs across the spectrum. You have the sort of left-wing Socialist Campaign Group, the Richard Bergens of the world, Ian Byrne and others. You have your soft left, Dr Rosanna Allen Khan and those types of MPs. And even those who I won't name, because I'll get them in trouble, people that are current government PPSs and junior ministers going, he's I think the person that we need. So you're talking about a broad spectrum of Labour MPs across all the different factions that, one, the general consensus genuinely is, Keir's finished. It's too late. Anything he tries to do now is too late. Any outreach with backbenchers and whatever he's trying harder now is too late, is the general consensus. But that Andy Burnham is probably the one that should follow.
You see, you know, I'm not a natural supporter of Keir Starmer, or indeed Andy Burnham, come to think of it, but I respond to Andy Burnham because he speaks human, seems like a human being. Keir Starmer, quite the reverse. But it's not about politics. For people like me, and I think for millions of people around the country now, it's not about politics. It's not about whether you lean left or right. It's this kind of swirling mass of palpable incompetence. This government seems, or Keir Starmer's government, just seems to be hopelessly useless. I mean, today's announcement, digital ID cards. I mean, I think mainly a lot of people in Britain will hate the idea, but what on earth does Keir Starmer think he's going to get out of that? He didn't need to make this announcement. Why has he done it? Is he keen on making himself even more unpopular?
Well, it's one of the things I don't really feel strongly on either side. I see totally very bad things that could come from this, and I get, you know, maybe it's the way of the world or whatever. It appears he wants something to say because he's going to launch it at this progressive...
hard and concrete,
Yeah, they're having this progressive conference tomorrow, and he can go as a special guest and say whatever. I was quite surprised. I looked at the polling before I came in. Overwhelming public support for the idea of digital ID, but then it doesn't surprise me because the general public can be quite totalitarian in their thinking. You look at how well-behaved people were during
the greatest
COVID
tyranny comes from the people themselves.
Everyone was very well-behaved during COVID and actually at times wanted further lockdowns and we grassing on the neighbours and whatever. I think the thing that's annoyed me is this is apparently to sort of tackle asylum seekers, people working in the grey market. It won't work for two reasons. One, we already have this sort of stuff. We used to have what were called biometric residency permits, which, for those that don't know, was almost like small driving licence cards that would say on it whether you had the right to work, no recourse to public funds, and it's your picture and it's all there, so you could show your paperwork if you wanted to. The other reason being it's a lot more complicated. Me or you could go and sign up to be a delivery driver tomorrow, and what is happening is individuals who have the right to work are doing so and then selling these profiles online to make money out of it to people that don't have the right to work. That's not going to end any of this.
I think, you know, on these issues, you get one poll says, "Oh, overwhelming support," and then another poll will say overwhelming opposition. So, I think there will. Well, I mean, you might expect it of my audience, but they're furious about this.
No, I have no doubt.
But let's talk sort of more generally. I mean, I think it's clear. Keir Starmer. I was going to ask you, what do they both stand for? It's clear to everyone. Keir Starmer stands for nothing whatsoever, except for making appalling decisions. What does Andy Burnham stand for?
I think he stands for a different type of sort of the idea of progressive. I laughed at Maurice Glassman the other week saying progressive is a terrible word. You wouldn't go to the doctor and want to hear the word progressive, so we shouldn't talk about it in politics.
Well, not in that context.
Quite a savvy line. I think he wants to give, and it sounds glib, but power back to people, or at least feel like people can be empowered in their lives. You look at the sort of mini manifesto of ideas he's put forward, has to be a huge investment in council houses or social homes because people can't get on the ladder. And you can go right back 50 years, Kev. We talk about immigration, rightfully so. I've been doing a bit of work at the minute. If we had had net zero migration since 2010, we would still be short of 2.7 million houses for the population of this country. We've not built enough. And I think there's something to be said about the idea of public services. We pay a fortune anyway. We're going to have to bail out Thames Water next year. It's going to cost us all a fortune. We might as well own it if we're going to be paying for it.
I bail out Thames Water every 3 months when they send me the damn bills.
But so therefore, is it right that the necessities of life we should have a say in?
Well, look, but Labour, as I say, is not my party of choice, but Labour, you know, its ethos is it's the party of principles. It's the party of the people, to help the vulnerable and the downtrodden. And I think that it is Keir Starmer's clear, total abrogation of that, that people despise. And also, he just doesn't seem to be competent. He just doesn't seem to know what the hell he's doing. And in terms of principles, I think Andy Burnham, I might not like his principles, but I would just like a Prime Minister who had some. And this guy Starmer, I just don't think he has any.
I'm glad you've said that, because there's been a lot of, snide comments from people in Labour circles because he served under Blair and Brown and Corbyn, and therefore he has no real politics and he pretends to be one thing or another. I think what it shows is loyalty. Is that regardless of leader, he's loyal to the Labour Party and wants the Labour Party to succeed. I think the other thing that Burnham does, all the polls will tell you he'd win an election over Keir Starmer. He's got a better chance against Farage. It's all the polling's been done. I think when it comes to the human connection, Keir Starmer isn't authentic, and people know that when he's reading from his crib sheet, he's not being his true self and his true political self. Andy Burnham, as people have said over the last couple of days, is the same person behind the camera as he is in front of it. And I think that level of authenticity is what people want to feel like. Am I being lied to? Can I trust this guy? Would I go for a pint with him? Is he all right?
That is
and
it.
That
the pint
is,
test.
I think, where you can actually challenge people like Farage, where people may also feel that way. That's why I think he's the strongest candidate.
Well, listen, when you're in Liverpool next week, let's get you on if you're happy to do that.
Amidst the chaos.
Amidst the chaos. Yeah, well, I want reports from the clown show. But also, no,
you've come to the biggest clown.
No, I think we know who the biggest clown is. But Morgan McSweeney, very quick couple of questions.
Yes.
Morgan McSweeney, is he gone soon?
Yeah, I think whether it be the Mandelson stuff or the Labour Together stuff, if there's some sort of inquiry, there'll have to be a fall guy. Keir won't want it to be him, so it'll have to be Morgan.
But if Morgan does go, they say that Keir Starmer is basically a hollow man filled, and the gaps are filled in by Morgan McSweeney. So he'll be very exposed. Genuinely, I mean, as I said, Andy Burnham's got a lot of hurdles to cross technically before he can even pose a direct threat. But do you think Keir Starmer is not long for this world?
May, latest.
May.
I think we lose Wales and Scotland, we lose councils like Bradford and places all over the country, and the pressure will be insurmountable. He'll have to go.
Listen, Matthew, it was great, and enjoy Liverpool. I think we all will. But seriously, we'll be in touch and you give us some reports.
Amazing.
That's great. That's Matthew Torbitt, former Labour advisor. Well, look, I don't know, this is a bit like saying which disease would you rather die from, but who would you rather have as Prime Minister, Keir Starmer or Andy Burnham? I'm being a bit unfair to Andy Burnham. I don't care about being unfair to Keir Starmer. Seriously, let me know. Would you like Burnham to take over? Because, come on, folks, it couldn't be worse, could it? 0344 499 1000. Thank you to Matthew. When we come back, we're going to try and find out what the hell Ed Miliband, Crazy Ed, is doing in New York. He's taken yet another one of these eco-busting, planet-destroying flights all the way across the Atlantic. And we can't work out what the hell he's doing there. Don't forget, the first 6 months after Keir Starmer was voted into power, this guy, the net zero secretary, the very green, he took 23,000 miles he flew, air miles. His staff have flown about 14,000 miles on domestic flights in Britain. I mean, it seems a little hypocritical, doesn't it?